again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
The A-League on Fox Sports. Oh my goodness.
Good evening and welcome to FFA Cup quarter-final night at Kingston Heath. It is the Bentleigh Greens against Heidelberg United, a battle of NPL Victoria sides and a spot in the semi-finals up for grabs. We hope you're enjoying tonight's coverage on the Fox Sports Australia website and also the MyFootball app. My name is Teo Pellizzeri, and joining me in commentary is former Newcastle Jets coach Scott Miller. Scott, we've been enjoying this FFA Cup run. Victorian teams have played such a huge part in it, and now we get to see which one of them gets to claim the bragging rights as the, well, potentially last NPL team standing, but certainly the last NPL Victoria team standing.
Yeah, you're spot on. How good's it been this year? It's been so entertaining, but furthermore, not only because of the action and the intensity, but the quality as well. I've been really fortunate to see a lot of games, and the quality's been really great. And you look at the two teams tonight with the bragging rights of Victoria, so to speak, and the quality on show. It's going to be an outstanding game.
There are the two teams in the tunnel. Heidelberg crowned NPL Victoria champions at the weekend with their win against Avondale, another FFA Cup team, in the grand final. And the Bentleigh Greens, who have a long and decorated history in this competition, even though it is only 5 years old, they are trying to get to the semi-final round for the second time, and that would make them the first NPL team to do so. There the Heidelberg bench is. They've already made their way out onto the pitch here at Kingston Heath. And now leading out the players are the referees tonight in front of a building crowd, 1,500 expected here at the Heath. It's been no stranger to big occasions in the FFA Cup, from Perth Glory to Melbourne Victory. Well, tonight it is two teams that know each other incredibly well. Would you believe it is the 5th competitive meeting between the sides this year? So out onto the ground they go. And let's take a look at how the teams line up. Bentleigh Greens, goalkeeper Ryan Scott, 3 Jacob Alexander, 5 Jack Webster, 8 Blake Thompson, 9 Chris Lucas, 10 Tyson Holmes, 13 James Exidius, 14 Marko Jankovic, the hero of the game against Wellington Phoenix, 16 Josh Mika, 18 Matt Thurtell, and 23 Velibor Mitrovic. Starting for Heidelberg United tonight, Chris Theodoridis Petropoulos in goal, 2 Josh Wilkins, 6 Lewis Hall, 7 Ruben Way, 8 Andrew Kartanos, 9 Adrian Zara, 10 Jack Petrie, 13 Luke Biles, 14 Harry Noon, 16 Tom Cahill, and 19 Sean Ellis. On the bench for Bentleigh, their backup keeper is Nathan Coe, Charlie Fry, Dimi Hatzimaratis, James Kelly, and Evan Kosmarikis. And for Heidelberg, their second goalkeeper is Christian Pavlidis, Les Dumbalis, Harvey Reid, Paul O'Brien, and Jacob Talevsky. Tonight's referee is Sean Evans. Assistants are Wilson Brown and the FFE Referee of the Year, Laura Moyer. And fourth official will be Jack Morgan. There are the captains, Luke Biles and Jack Webster. And it looks as though Biles may have won the toss here. And it looks as though the teams aren't going to opt for a swap. And there's no real reason to. There is not a breath of wind. It is a beautiful, mild night. Spring seems finally to be arriving at the end of a very cold September. And, Scott, you couldn't ask for better conditions for football.
Well, last time we were here, how cold was it? It was ridiculously cold. So it's actually really pleasing to actually see the conditions. Great crowding. Great to see as well. Great support for both teams. It's going to be interesting to see the balance and how Heidelberg approach this game with the fixture on Sunday night. Took a lot out of them. You're really challenged late in the game as well.
And mentally and emotionally, where are Bentleigh at? You were here, as was I, for the wild finish to the 4-3 loss in the semi-final to Avondale, conceding 3 goals after the 115th minute. This is their first opportunity to get the cobwebs out. If anything, they're probably grateful to be in the Cup so that their season didn't end on such a sour note.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a never-ending season at this point, but you know, they would have really worked over the tactical analysis of the game, but most importantly, the disappointment you speak about, that's the hardest. And this is the next opportunity. And it's not just any opponent. It's a Victorian opponent that they've got the chance to go through to the semi-final. And I think that's what their intensity or mindset would have been shifted towards very quickly.
All in readiness then Heidelberg won the league, Bentleigh won the cup. These two teams have been hand in hand, nose to nose, all the way through the NPL Victoria season. Perhaps it's only fitting that now they duel in the FFA Cup as well. Heidelberg in the yellow to attack the right of your screens, or the northern end of the ground, and the Bentleigh Greens in their home green to attack the southern or centre Dandenong Road end here at Kingston Heath. Adrian Zara will get us underway. He scored after just 5 minutes in the NPL Victoria Grand Final at the weekend. And as Sean Evans checks his watch one last time. Not sure what the hold-up is, but we are ready. And we get this FFA Cup quarter-final underway. And Heidelberg immediately played out to the left. Harry Noon back from suspension. He's one key in tonight after his red card against Lions FC in the NPL National Playoffs that cost him the chance to play in the grand final. Velibor Mitrovic on the ball now for Bentleigh, spinning straight into trouble, and Harry Noon on cue wins the tackle. Up to Cahill, won the Jimmy Rooney medal as best of field in the grand final, so he'll be coming in with high spirits. Katanos rolls it back to Zara, and now down the wing, an opportunity for Ruben Way to try and break, but coming across, Jack Webster puts it out. One of the best things about these two teams is there is plenty of familiarity and a few long memories as well, Scott. No one's going to take a backward step when individual battles within this game recommence, and certainly there have been a few players who don't particularly like each other in these two sides.
I'd be very surprised if tomorrow we're not talking about a combative type style game as well. So I don't see much change from both sides in the way they're going to apply the tactical sort of situation here. But most importantly, as you mentioned, the intensity and the intent, I think, is going to be very lively all throughout the evening.
A foul allows Bentleigh to play out from the back. Yankovic then opts for the long ball. Thurtell, flag stays down. Chris Lucas is in the middle. Thurtell can't find him though. And Lewis Hall, the other man who has won a reprieve tonight, was sent off in the NPL Victoria semi-finals. Had served 2 games of a longer suspension, but then won an appeal, and now finds himself out here playing tonight.
That's the evidence of the game plan there. Why not actually play that ball over the top early on and expose that spacing behind? We saw it last week with Sydney FC as well. I think it's a great tactic and to find that balance early on the game. So
the first corner of the night, Mitrovic to the near post. Attempted flick header on. Height of ambition there as it goes sailing out for a goal kick. That was Thompson getting on the end of it, but to no great effects.
Very clear instructions here. No risk of playing out from the back earlier in the game. You know, this is about a game about managing it as well and really finding the rhythm quite early. And it's quite evident in the way teams are structured here. They're playing out high and wide. No risk of playing out through the back third to start off with.
You can see the fans walking behind Chris Theodoridis, making their way around to the outer side, which is already packed under the roof over there. All the bench seating well and truly occupied. So that long ball is going to slide out. Of course, the battle of managers tonight. John Anastasiadis on the bench for the Bentleigh Greens. George Katsakis for Heidelberg United. It was actually Anastasiadis that got the nod as Coach of the Year, which is a peer-voted award in the NPL this season. Katsakis won it last year. Lucas to Mika. Bentleigh able to break at speed. Heidelberg backtracking as Mika slides it to Thurtell, but he got his step wrong. And Theodoridis will gratefully pick up.
That's a great style of Bentley's team there. This is how they play. They play on transition with loads of forward runs. You look at the pace of the front three. They've got explosive speed up there, and they must utilise that tonight to break down that back four.
Noon. Way. Dispossessed. Tyson Holmes. Ran into a 1-on-2. Zara is going to come away with the ball. Cahill does so much work back to goal, but this time the pass is given away. Lucas scored a hat-trick against Broadmeadow Magic in the round of 16, so he's got the hot boot coming in. Alexander. Thompson. Thurtell, little layoff. And now Mika back to Thurtell, saved by Theodoridis. And Luke Biles was first to react to the parry, steering it behind for a corner.
They'll be disappointed with that, with there too much combination play outside the box. The back four need to engage higher up the field and get a lot more pressure on the ball there to sort of get away from that situation. That was really threatening.
So second corner, and now they're first from the right side. Thurtell looking good tonight in these early stages, really getting involved with the spearhead of the Bentleigh Greens attack. Drifting corner. Thompson with the header and volleyed away by Ellis. Katanos. And Holmes stripped him of the ball, but illegally, says the referee. Biles. Cahill used his chest. Zara trying to feed off it. Noon. This time, Thompson comes through and is fouled by Tom Cahill. Perhaps feigning the quick restart of play rather than genuinely wanting to move the ball on. That's because Webster's just going to rip it long. Thurtell. Luke Biles. Zara. Jack Petrie plays it back to Ruben Way. He goes long. Webster read the header. Cahill touches it down. Zara. Lewis Hall, long ball. Ellis tried to shield the drop. And he's done well against Jacob Alexander here. And then maybe too clever by half. Wilkins not able to run onto his back heel. Yankovic.
Oh,
laid off by Tyson Holmes, and Mika swallowed up by the challenge from Harry Noon. Wilkins, long ball in return. Slides off the head of Yankovic and is kept away from Tom Cahill. Now Exidius. Flick header on by Thurtell, but no one forward in support for the Bentleigh Greens. It's been a lively start through 6.5 minutes, but we're still scoreless here at Kingston Heath.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing about who potentially started the game with a greater purpose. I'm leaning towards Bentleigh at this time. They've had more ball possession, essentially, with cleaner possession, so to speak. I love that little link-up play, playing out of the back third into Holmes' feet there. What a superb little touch around the corner. He's definitely got an added quality.
Hall. Noon. And that pass is going to slide out. So Heidelberg had a big decision tonight with Stephen Pace, their regular centre-back, popping out his shoulder at the weekend. They've put Lewis Hall into centre-back next to Luke Biles. He's normally a defensive midfielder, but he's got some height about him, Scott. So as we see him challenge Thurtell here and win the header.
Although those positions are different, they're very similar in terms of the movements and most importantly with the ball. He'll find that being very comfortable in possession will support the team's structure tonight.
Cahill able to slip away from Yankovic, and he's bearing down on goal. Cahill and puts it across the face, trying on the tight angle, not able to make it work.
Potentially a better option there, the wide striker receiving or arriving into the back post area there. If he gets his head up there, great chance creation for their number 8 over there.
Harry Noon, the other player back in the Heidelberg team, has gone into a more familiar position in the centre of midfield. We wait here on Ryan Scott. Straight onto the head of Luke Biles. Cahill lays it off to Ellis. It's very left-footed, Sean Ellis. And he will cut in here. Wants his preferred side, but showed too much of the ball to Mika. And now a kind deflection will be seized upon by Scott. Hurls it out to Jacob Alexander. Did well to keep it in, but that's all he did. Straight to Lewis Hall. Zara trying to ghost in on Yankovic, but wise to the presence of the Heidelberg attacker.
Showed a bit of experience there. It was actually quite a good ball in the end, but what I'm seeing here is one team needs to grab hold of this game now. We're seeing a lot of end-to-end. We need a bit of possession through the mid-third and a bit cleaner with the tactical approach as well.
Bentleigh patient at the moment. Holmes has come deep. And opts to roll it back to Ryan Scott. Yankovic made Thurtell work. Ruben Wade committed himself. Jack Petrie to Tom Cahill. Has options on the right. Ellis. Wilkins. With a little burst of acceleration, Wilkins, and now finds Ellis. A chance to whip one in. Ooh. Volleyed away by Jankovic. Petrie. Ellis has got plenty of space here. Bentleigh standing off, inviting him to cross it again, so he does. And Jankovic takes care of business for the second ball in a row. Holmes to Mitrovic. Mika. From the right side, flipped on by Exidius. Holmes advancing. And now Mitrovic, it sits up for him. Velibor Mitrovic shooting straight into the arms of Theodoridis, who got his positioning right.
Much better play there. Actually, what we've seen them do of late over the last 5 or 10 minutes is attack down the narrow side. They've gone in under the game, played via their holding midfielder and played out the opposite side and got a lot of joy from that.
Theodoridis sends it long, but Blake Thompson returns the header. Now Zara, physical stuff. Zara wiped out, free kick.
Hefty challenge that. Good to see though. Maybe this is the start of the intensity we're looking for, because it's been a quiet start from that perspective.
When these two teams met in the Doherty Cup final, there was a big brawl. 2 players saw red cards as a result of it. Sean Ellis was one of them, Marko Jankovic the other. They're both out there playing tonight. Not for anything they did to each other. Ellis left a boot in on the goalkeeper. He saw red, and then Jankovic was sent off for essentially escalating the situation and turning it into an all-in. Zara. From the centre of defence, Jankovic battling Cahill, loses out. Harry Noon is going to try his luck and shoots it straight into Webster. The goalkeeper not even required. And now off heads, Tyson Holmes, looking motivated. Crowned the NPL Victoria gold medalist on Friday. And now Lucas finds Mitrovic. He's had a sighter already. Tries his left foot this time, and it was always rising.
He's so good at that transition, link-up play. Striker did fantastically, nodding that down to the attacking midfielder. And I just love the intent. Men getting forward, real high energy and great purpose. What a fantastic shot. Unlucky not to keep it down.
12 minutes gone. Already feels as though this game's got a really good rhythm to it at the moment. Chris Theodoridis will take his time as we see the replay again here of the Mitrovic chance. And his goal kick asked a lot. Over on the wing. Bentleigh get the ball back. Exidius looking barely recognisable, having shaved his head. Obviously anticipating some warmer weather because the locks have come off. Jankovic, high ball. Biles wins another header. Here is Exidius. Mitrovic, fleet feet to get it away in time. And now Thurtell. Holmes. In a tangle. Harry Noon is there. Ellis. And now Heidelberg work their way out of trouble. And look at the busting run of Wilkins. He's going to take on Thompson here. And he breaks wide. Thompson conserves the energy and just stands off. Wilkins swinging in across. Cahill willed himself onto the ball. And it ended up getting the outside of the post.
Great effort that, but you know what it starts from? It starts from the intensity of the back four and the midfield really screening that back four there and affecting the starting positions there.
And in a flash, the ball is down the other end, but Bentleigh defence a little bit flat-footed there to allow Cahill to burst in and get to the ball.
That's a frustrating thing when a goalkeeper makes that decision. If it's not on, you must be patient playing out from the back four. Your team's defending a lot out of possession there, and he goes and actually releases possession back defending now. So that's always a difficult thing to deal with.
Lucas being forced the wrong way at the moment. Bentleigh have played themselves all the way down to the last line of defence. Ryan Scott keeps it moving. Webster. Exidius. Thompson just let the ball slide under his foot there. And now out to the left side. Clever from Kartanos. Sends it to Ellis. Was trying to volley it to his own advantage there, but couldn't quite pull it off. Now Chris Lucas trying to spin away from Ruben Way, and he's done so successfully. Exidius follows up. Bentleigh Green's on the march. Exidius through 2 players. Still going Exidius.
Oh, what a run that was. Fantastic.
And Wilkins gets it away. The last man he had to beat, but he went through about 4 or 5.
You mentioned his haircut before, maybe. Bit of inspiration. Fantastic effort. I love seeing players do that. The energy he showed there, the commitment to it, but also the technique. Very unfortunate not to get a strike on goal there.
Still only 20 years old, James Exidius was part of Victory Youth before leaving the system and coming to the Bentleigh Greens. In comes the corner. Theodoridis able to plunk it out of the air without too much trouble.
You know, just touching base on that, you know, it's brave to leave an environment like that. You know, playing for Melbourne City or a Melbourne Victory, so to speak, in that youth team system, it's hard to leave. So I commend a young man that's looking to come out and play senior football like that.
Well, not many youngsters get a game for John Anastasiadis, so the fact he's played all season is really a testament to his ability. Maybe a night like tonight will get a bit of buzz about him returning to the professional ranks. Right now, his wing is the one under attack. Zara puts it into the box. Blake Thompson clears.
You know, it's a big point you make about youth development, and it's all it comes down to one word and one word only, and that's trust. And John had obviously trust that young man to execute the game plan, and that's all you can ask. Players that are coachable, take on information, and execute it for the team, and he's obviously doing that for him.
Long throw from Biles. Blake Thompson away. Holmes flicks it on. Biles. Thurtell playing it into a gap for Mika, but he's Bentleigh's most advanced man here. He's going to hold it up and wait for runners in the middle. His pass misdirected. Sean Ellis takes over. Wilkins. Cahill able to turn away from Yankovic. Trying to thread the pass through, but Blake Thompson, who's been good for Bentleigh so far, able to pick it off. Heidelberg waiting for Bentleigh to advance out of their defensive third before they begin to press. Webster, a long ball, hoping for the speed of Lucas, and he's taking on Ruben Way here, but can't get past him. Way sends the ball into a 50-50, and Lucas did well. Wins possession, but to no great effect. Jack Petrie is there to take it away. Centre of defence, and then all the way back to Theodoridis.
Yeah, you mentioned that that first press from Heidelberg there. It's very simplistic in its approach, but it's actually quite hard to break down, and it's a characteristic of them as a club. They like to compress that mid-third and make it very difficult to play through, and as you saw there, they tried to expose the spacing behind on the back of that.
Kartanos off on another venturing run. Cahill with a step over. Ellis, shoulder to shoulder against Jacob Alexander. And Bentleigh will take Heidelberg away from their attack. A little bit helter-skelter, though, from the run there by Holmes. Never really had control of the ball. Zara. Kartanos. Clips it over the top. Alexander able to find a teammate with his chop away. But then given away. Kartanos. Cahill. Through the traffic. Flags up, and Kartanos didn't time the run, offside.
Good play, nice and patient build-up, combination play in those key areas, but what a mistake. That first ball out of the back third there is crucial. You've got to hit that target, otherwise you're back on the back foot there. You must take more care. Interesting sort of rhythm change in the game now. You're seeing a lot of second phase balls, a lot more aggression in that phase as well, but one thing that's very consistent, the transition and speed of Bentleigh is outstanding so far.
And again in a flash there, down into attack. Holmes. Mika. Chris Lucas. Tyson Holmes leaves it for Lucas. In front of the Heidelberg bench, they're going to work here. Cahill knocks over Yankovic. It's been a good little duel between those two so far, and the referee not seeing an advantage. Whistles Tom Cahill for the free kick. There's always a dialogue between Tom Cahill and any given referee.
Oh, why not? Why not?
Sean Evans not interested in a conversation after that foul, though.
Yeah, but you need that from your striker. That changes the rhythm of the entire team. Seeing a striker do that changes the intensity, and he wants more from his team. That's why he's engaging higher up the field like that.
Went to ground with a slip there, Ruben Wayne. Still received the ball.
Looked a bit awkward there, didn't it? I don't know what happened. A little sniper in the bushes somewhere.
Awkward giveaway. Katanos went to ground, tried to sell the contact, and Heidelberg fans over on the outer side certainly shouting at the referee, but no interest. And now Holmes over the top. Lucas sprinting. Theodoridis off his line. And he's shown composure with his feet, but then given the ball straight back. Mika trying to return it with interest, Josh Mika, and puts it over the crossbar.
One thing's for sure, Bentleigh are entertaining to watch. You see the way they attack. It's full blast. The player I need to mention there is Holmes. The ability to receive on half turn and play forward with key passes. He's impressed me for the last month. The amount of times I've seen him, he's a great talent here.
You saw Mika's eyes light up there and tried to shoot in a way that would allow the ball to dip, but it dipped too late. Cahill. Petrie. Zara. Given away. Mitrovic. And then Thurtell can't stick the 1-2. Theodoridis happy to slow things down.
Yeah, I'm looking at the body language of a few Heidelberg players, and yeah, you do consider late in this game, will fatigue play a factor? They've had a massive week winning the league. What did the behaviour look like post that game? And was this fixture in their minds? Certainly would have been, but fixtures to this magnitude are important for football clubs as well. But massive fitness issues towards the end of this game, I would suggest.
And you do feel as though this initial burst, where they have been so energetic, perhaps needs to bear fruit for them. With that said, it's been a long season for Bentleigh as well.
Yeah, as I said, it seems like it's been going on forever, and you just have another fixture. And with the FFA Cup, it's awesome for these clubs, and the deeper they go, obviously the more games. And for me, it's fantastic, the exposure the teams get at the highest level, and obviously the Fox coverage as well. And the players get to play in different environments. I think it's a fantastic competition, and it's great to see two Victorian teams, I've got to say, get to this level.
Well, the crowd has certainly responded tonight as well. Zara. Cahill and Zara. Mika argues that he got the ball. Heidelberg take the free kick quickly. Katanos away down the left. Drifts it, looking for Ellis. Off the head of Alexander. Mitrovic to Thompson.
The challenge you've got here, you need your central midfielder to receive it, and as he says it, as I'm saying it, he's actually done what I wanted of them. Receive on the half turn and actually
Thurtell
drive.
fancies his chances on the volley, but shoots it straight at the keeper.
Great effort.
And the pass over the top. They haven't, as you said, almost in the first 30 seconds of the night, Scott, they haven't been afraid to play that long ball into space.
No, definitely not. But, you know, just to touch on what I was saying there, it's all very well to play across the back third, but the central midfielders need to get in clear possession, and they can actually be more aggressive and drive that gap to force a press, and then they can receive on shoulders higher up the field. I think if they use that tactic more, they might see a better outcome.
Katanos brings it down. And can't find Cahill with his pass. About a quarter of the way through the night's action if it were to end in 90 minutes. But, of course, if we can't find a winner within the 90, it'll be extra time. And then penalties if required. Alexander. Wilkins. Now Thurtell. Found the space for Tyson Holmes, sliding it into the path of Chris Lucas. Lucas! Just wide. Crowd were going up. They expected a goal, and perhaps so did Chris Lucas.
How good was that combination play in here? A little bit of quick feet, executed it, find the build-up on the opposite side and key pass. That's where Bentleigh are massive. That's their biggest threat, the forward runs from the opposite angle there. He's unlucky not to score that, and obviously on another day he may have taken that chance, but that's their game plan down pat there, making those forward runs in those key areas.
A very near miss. Heidelberg with a let-off.
Such a dangerous run when that striker comes off and in behind the opposite fullback. It's so hard to defend that because he's actually watching across the line and it can actually affect the starting positions of that back four.
Ruben Way's header. Katanos at ground level. Noon. Webster sends it high and out onto the roof of the stand over on the outer side. Ruben Way, one of a number of Queenslanders who made his way to NPL Victoria after being seen in the FFA Cup first. Katanos slipping it to Ruben Way, hard up against the corner flag. Cahill bringing it down. On the turn, Tom Cahill, and then dispossessed by Jankovic and away from Mitrovic. Thurtell, it's 1-on-2. And the defender, Lewis Hall, did more than enough.
That's outstanding defending. He's one-on-one in that situation there. He stood up tall, showed them one way and executed that defending fantastically. You can't ask for more than a central defender than that.
And Heidelberg trying to build from that challenge, but Ellis's pass is intercepted by Jankovic. Holmes. Alexander. Thompson. Webster's the player they want hitting the long ball, but on this occasion he sees the simple pass to Mika, to Exidius, I should say. And now Thompson again.
I'd really like to see Thompson actually receive the ball this side of the first press there so he can affect the game a little bit more.
Mitrovic on the run, went for glory, ended up putting it into the fence. Wide left, well wide in the end. He's had a couple of shots. I think it's his third attempt of the night, Velibor Mitrovic, but hasn't been able to find his radar.
Certainly got the skill and technique to do it, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's a target at some time this evening.
Chances adding up for the Bentleigh Greens, but we remain deadlocked. Jankovic with a powerful header. Hall hooks it away. Ellis, great first touch. Sliced on by Jankovic and cleared by Thompson. Petrie. Josh Wilkins. Long ball, trying to meet the run of Zara, but Webster comfortable under the header on that occasion. Thompson, Holmes with a step over, leaves it for Mitrovic. Now the runner breaking on the left is Alexander. Mitrovic doesn't want to use him though, he wants to cut central himself. Draws some defenders, and now Tyson Holmes. Alexander is the option. Low ball. Thurtell not able to get a glance. Heidelberg clear. Only briefly though. Lucas with a flick header. Mika was lurking, but Luke Biles came across. Now Webster brings it down. Tyson Holmes.
Better from Bentleigh here. Complete ball control here. I love the influence of the fullback on this side. Just exposing that, giving the left fullback something to think about, and a fantastic ball across the 6 yards box.
That pass picks out Ruben Way. His clearance is deflected down, but he will get a second chance here, and the referee's whistle will make it a dead ball. Sean Evans whistling here because Sean Ellis, who came into the game with a very heavily strapped right leg, has put himself to the turf. So the trainer will be called out here for Heidelberg United. And this is a concern. The Scottish winger, one of their most important players.
Yeah, one thing you don't want to be doing in a game like this is making subs so early, considering the discussion we've had about the potential of extra time and penalties. Such a key player. he would have been managing this throughout the last couple of weeks as well, and maybe it's just one game too many for him.
You can see the extensive strapping around his knee. It's the
that's extensive, as you said. That's not an issue that's just arrived. That's very structural. It'll be interesting to see if he's had any ACL, MCL, or PCL injuries over the years, because that's very structural type taping they've got there.
James Telford, the physio, has, after a few little pokes and prods, got him back to his feet. He's that important, though. They're going to make him look like the $6 million man and get him out there.
Yeah, well, listen, the budget's been increased with it regarding that tape, hey? Good sponsorship, maybe a little bit of a sponsorship on the side there, potentially.
Doesn't seem to be any really negative body language towards the bench, which suggests that Ellis should be right to continue. All of Heidelberg's subs are warming up in any case. In terms of a straight swap, they have Les Dumbalis, who's a left-sided player, and he would go into left back, and then Ruben Way would move up to a wing position if they did need to make this change.
Yeah, it wouldn't change the structure of their game plan at all. Obviously, the personnel will change, that's evident, but Ruben Way, he's obviously spends a lot of his time in that front to mid-third anyway. So it'll be interesting to see what they've done here. Obviously, it looks like there may well be an adjustment here.
Ellis takes his seat on the bench. Fourth official's reaching for the board, so that's not a good sign for Heidelberg United. Although in the grand final, they did lose Stephen Pace in the opening half an hour when his shoulder popped out. And here comes Les Dumbalis on for Sean Ellis. So it's a disappointing end of the night for the man from Fort William. And Les Dumbalis, who in terms of appearances for Heidelberg United is their most experienced player, once again, just like the grand final on Sunday, is called upon to come in and patch a hole. And he's on the ball straight away. Webster leaves it for Ryan Scott. So waiting for them to adjust. It looks as though they're happy enough to leave Dumbalis in midfield for now and Ruben Way at left back, which is not the switch I was anticipating, Scott.
Well, potentially they're thinking about the threat and the speed on that wing there. So maybe they're happier and more comfortable with Ruben Way playing out there. Maybe it'll be something later in the game. Maybe fatigue will play a factor and they might switch there more. There's a bit of versatility as well. But once you find that rhythm defensively, it's very challenging to change that. And something you don't really want to change as a manager at times.
So throw in to be taken by Jacob Alexander. Long throw. Great distance on it. The flick header straight to Heidelberg, though, at the far post. Ruben Way is the man getting it clear. And now Petrie. Exidius. Way. Almost an inverted overhead kick there. It doesn't come off. Luke Biles, though, making an interception. Exidius. Rolls it back to Thompson. Holmes.
You look at the number of men behind the ball from Heidelberg now, so organised. It's a characteristic of the team all year round. Very hard to play against, very combative, but look at the structure. They've got to identify the space now with forward passes, releasing off the back four like you can see Mitrovic here.
Jankovic. Mitrovic all the way back to Thompson. Trying to find some joy on the right side now, the Greens. Webster, indecisive, leaves it for Exidius. They're going to be forced backwards once more. Holmes.
Ultimately, there's nothing wrong with that. People get criticised when they lengthen the game to maintain possession. For me, it's about having the ball in key areas and being actually patient in the build-up and then changing the rhythm as well. And I think that's what they need to do now. They're playing it very much one-pace game. They need to actually emphasise the rhythm, i.e. here, change the rhythm and a forward pass and forward runs.
Tyson Holmes drifting through midfield. Sees a lot of yellow shirts between him and goal. Thompson. Vertel, back to Holmes. Heidelberg happy enough to keep their shape here and watch Bentleigh own the ball. And the pass can't find a gap. Lewis Hall gets it away. Ryan Scott playing keeper sweeper, well off his line. anticipating the long ball over the top. Now through the right side, Lucas just lost the ball under his feet. Goes and barges over Ruben Way. He was keen to play it quickly, but the ball is still rolling.
Well, the first 34 minutes, I'm actually not really feeling the intensity I thought we expected. I think each team sort of really been quite passive in their approach altogether. Yes, we've had some chances from Bentleigh, but in terms of the overall quality, I think both managers might be slightly disappointed at half-time, asking a lot more questions regarding the overall quality with the ball.
Still 10 minutes plus stoppage until that break, though. Enough time for one of these two teams to seize the initiative. Yang Mitrovic's pass. Thurtell. Alexander stretching the Bentleigh defence and flashes it across the face. Lucas was the man arriving. Couldn't find a touch, though. Not for the first time tonight. A ball tantalisingly goes through the penalty area without any contact.
That's going to be the point of difference there. Playing on that transition early, and you see Mitrovic making that forward run that affected the central defenders. They had to narrow up, that allowed that forward run into those key areas. They really need to affect those areas now and actually get someone across that 6-yard box, because I think that's probably the second or third time we've seen that occur.
Holmes. Wilkins, early ball. Yankovic with a half volley in return. Ruben Way, and up and under. Mitrovic couldn't control it. Well played by Zara to get in between two Bentleigh opponents. Now Cartano switched over to the right flank. Taking on Alexander. Asked a lot of Cahill, but he's done well to win the ball. And now Wilkins will explode down the right side. Chance for Heidelberg United. All about the delivery from Wilkins. He clips it to the far post, and the header is straight into the arms of Ryan Scott. No real power behind it.
Fantastic idea, great vision, just the execution and speed on that header finally.
And Les Dumbalis, the man with that header, has gone running back and committed a foul, and that's going to be the first yellow card of the night. Amicable enough between him and the man he fouled, Tyson Holmes.
Yep, taking one for the team there. Identified the risk if he actually didn't bring down the player there, so he's really actually identified that that was a massive risk.
37 minutes we waited for the first yellow card of the night. Dumbalis can certainly see the funny side, but really no intent to win the ball.
But in terms of the style of play there, you saw Heidelberg play through those lines very quickly and at pace, and that actually got them into those key areas. They played out with a purpose instead of just playing it long in hope.
Yankovic wheels it out to Exidius. Alexander. Thurtell. Exidius' volley gives it straight to Biles. Lucas is snapping at his heels, can't win the ball. Petrie.
You know, defending like that's very deliberate from Heidelberg. You actually see them showing them one side and leaving the ball carrier in possession and actually screening loads of passes, which actually leads that transition pass, or switch as they call it, the only pass on. And then that's their trigger to go and press. It's actually very good structure from Heidelberg out of possession there.
Lewis Hall not keen to take it forward. Wilkins does so. Harry Noon. Thompson is able to usher him over the line and win a throw for Bentleigh's cause. Exidius goes long. Lewis Hall leads the backtrackers. Ruben Way brought it down. Cahill.
Great turn.
Able to spin away from Webster. Tom Cahill advancing for Heidelberg. He'll have a pop here and shoot it straight into the feet of Jankovic. Got no purchase on the shot. Plenty of time to load up too. He just totally mishit it. And now Jankovic sliding it into the path of Thurtell. Theodoridis has been drawn out of his line here. Danger for Heidelberg. Mitrovic.
Oh.
The squaring ball. Can't find Jankovic. Petrie in a battle against him and is able to prevail. Crucial from Jack Petrie.
Chance gone. Great touch here, but it was actually Mitrovic on the half turn. Better feet, more awareness, but possibly a bit more patience as well. It's always one of those ones when the goalkeeper's out, you want to rush. You need to be patient in that situation.
It's about decisions, isn't it, Scott?
It is. Sometimes the moment's gone and you need to recognise that and turn out and maintain possession.
Into the last 5 minutes of regulation then in this first half. Still scoreless. Perhaps a goal coming before the break though. Bentleigh forcing the issue. Alexander's pass though won't help their cause. Now Wilkins strokes it with some power all the way back to Theodoridis, who was able to get there in time. Cahill, typical bullocking work. Kartanos down the right side. Harry Noon sees no yellow ahead of the ball, so he's waiting for runners. Just drifting Harry Noon. And now on the overlap, Kartanos. In comes the cross. Cahill was waiting, but he's caught behind Webster. Kartanos, take two. With a little drag step, and now whips it in on his right foot. And again, the Bentleigh defence stands tall. Dumbalis. Ruben Way. Under pressure, Ruben Way, and it's taken off him. Webster breaking out of defence. Mitrovic. And now they're on the break, Bentleigh Greens. Tyson Holmes advancing, slides the pass. Mitrovic, can he get it right this time? He can't. And not for the first time tonight. He's shooting it straight at the goalkeeper.
Webster's got every right to be angry there. The pass was on. The transition, one pass, two passes, a one-touch finish for Webster. He's just actually created that opportunity there. That pass needs to be made. Must be made in that situation, and that could potentially be 1-0 at half-time if he finds that pass.
Available Mitrovic has been on the end of most of these Bentleigh attacks, but hasn't been able to score.
I'd imagine at half-time the inability to stop crosses in this left-back position might be of point of interest for John. They're actually not engaging, and that's 3 or 4 crosses in a row now where they haven't stopped the cross, and that might be costly later in the game. He must reference that at half-time.
Biles with the clearance here. It's a packed house over on the outer side.
The crowd's phenomenal, right? What a turnout.
It's great to see how deep they're standing up on the hill as well. Fans ringing the field here at Kingston Heath, getting whatever vantage point they can. The line for Savlaki is about 50 long. People making the dash before half-time, only to be disappointed that they haven't beaten the rush.
I'm just disappointed I didn't bring cash.
Cahill trying to bustle his way out of a 1-on-2, but can't do so. Zara can't control the ball. So 2 minutes plus stoppage until half-time. Feels like this game's got goals in it. You don't suspect it's going to be the game decided by the odd goal, but the longer we go without one, Scott, maybe the more likely it is that will become the reality.
Yeah, well, you know, both of us, we met here a few hours ago and we were talking about the expectation of the game, and I think both of us expected a lot more in terms of overall quality. But as you said, they've got goal-scoring threat in both sides, different styles of play, but there may need to be a little adaptation with that at half-time to actually tweak that, to expose it.
Exidius. And played it beyond Mika. And just go throw inside of the stick. So not the worst result for the Bentleigh Greens, because they can move all the chess pieces up the board and try to pin Heidelberg in.
Yeah, and you're spot on with that. You know, you talk about the difference of defensive organisation out of possession. Heidelberg drop very deep and leave them in possession, whereas they're a lot more aggressive, Bentleigh Greens, you could so to speak, in terms of how they set up, which is a positive thing. But sometimes that actually is your downfall also.
Cahill's come down into the defensive half to try and help out, but couldn't control the ball. And now Lucas takes it down. Holmes sliding it wide, hooks the shot. Tyson Holmes' first instinct is so often to pass, to try and make the assist rather than the goal.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're just seeing Ruben Way there actually talking to his holding midfielder about his starting positions. He thinks he's possibly too deep in that situation there and can't get up to the player in possession to block that shot.
You wouldn't think there'd be too much stoppage. The Sean Ellis injury didn't exactly wind a huge amount of time off the clock. He was down very briefly and then walked to the sideline and it was all over. First and only sub of the game so far.
And that smell of that souvlaki has definitely overwhelmed us now. They've cranked it up for half-time. Sales, I'd imagine. A bit overwhelming that, right?
Well, just 2 more minutes until the souvlaki rush can begin.
Best in the land, I hear.
Ball down in the corner. Cahill. Now back to Way. And Cahill's header is no real power behind it across the face. Did well to win it in the air, but couldn't do much with it once he made contact.
Deceiving in his height, but his aerial ability is actually great. You've seen him all season. He's a real good threat there. But this is the component I love in his game. The ability to get up and put pressure on the ball. He really affects the starting positions and makes those central defenders accountable in possession.
There's Exidius. We had the close-up shot of him taking the throw down in the right back corner. Biles with the header. Cahill controlling the ball. And now Harry Noon is going to fire Harry Noon, but high, well over the bar.
Better end to the half from Heidelberg. More ball control, but what you can see is they're actually playing in the attacking half. But as I said, it comes from the 2 number 9s here. Their intensity on the ball, and they're actually creating chances on the back of their own press.
Second minute of the 2 allocated stoppage at the end of this first half. Thurtell. Long ball from Thompson will bounce into the area of Theodoridis. Who's happier at the break, Scott?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So I've just been thinking about if I was out there now, who would be happier? John will be happy with the chance creation, there's no doubt. But all the shots have been outside the area, essentially, apart from the couple of cutbacks. He'll definitely be asking for more of a structure inside the area. You know, I'm answering the question as I'm thinking also, and I'm just thinking overall, they're both winning teams and they'll find a way to, execute that game plan and get that win. But fairly comfortable and even, I'd say, across the board.
Stoppage time is up. Maybe one last hurrah for the Bentleigh Greens. Right at the end of the half, Exidius's cross and dealt with by Lewis Hall. And that takes us to the halftime break. Plenty more to the story here. It is stalemate so far, and some Bentleigh players eager to run to the halftime break and think over what has been a very even but entertaining contest. Bentleigh Greens 0, Heidelberg United 0. Scott Miller, final thoughts on the first 45.
Yeah, you look at the energy of Bentleigh running off there. I don't know if that's a mindset or, really demonstrating their fitness levels at this point as well. As we said, John will be happy with the attacking threat. Heidelberg seem quite comfortable in possession at times. A few things they need to tweak in the back half. But as I said, these two are winning teams. They do find ways to win matches. So I think this will come down right down to the last couple of minutes.
Hope you're enjoying the coverage on the Fox Sports Australia website and the My Football app. We'll be back soon with the second half.
The godfather of Australian cricket, Alan Border, led the Aussies out of the wilderness in the 80s with his fierce captaincy, determined batting and super neat tash.
Alan Border waving.
Alan Border, only on Fox Cricket.
Live pictures from Kingston Heath. Welcome back to FFA Cup quarter-final night. We're at half-time between Bentleigh Greens and Heidelberg United. It is 0-0. Teo Pellizzeri, my name, joined by former Newcastle Jets coach Scott Miller. You can see the fans there filling the venue, but they haven't had a great deal to cheer or get excited about. Almost like they're just waiting for this game to spark back to life. We had a pretty lively and entertaining first 10 minutes, Scott, but the game didn't reach too many great heights since then. No,
there will be certainly a shift. I would say there would be a definite shift with not only intensity but also the purpose in possession. I think they've been quite cagey the first 45 minutes, as you said and alluded to. The first 10 minutes, yes, there was a bit about it, but overall I thought it was quite a boring first half, I'm going to be honest with you. So we'll need a shift in terms of the overall quality, there's no doubt. Messages will be interesting from half-time, and we'll look at that in the first 5 to 10 minutes to see if there's any changes tactically. But these teams are so structured in their manner, I don't see massive changes. I just think it would be execution and final ball.
There was the youngster James Exidius talking to Chris Lucas. Marko Jankovic, of course, the goal-scoring hero against the Wellington Phoenix in the round of 32.
I mean, when you consider the big A-League clubs that are actually out of the competition, this is a huge sort of game for both clubs in that situation. Getting through to the semi-finals, the potential of playing a top A-League club and, potentially reaching that final. It's a big game on hand, and this 45 minutes is a big test for both teams at this time of the year.
Sean Evans' whistle gets us back underway, and the Bentleigh Greens kick off, attacking the right of your screens at the start of the second half, and straight away it's been put out for a throw by Tyson Holmes. So goalless, looking for a player to break the deadlock here and prevent this one from going to extra time. We haven't quite seen the fire and brimstone that could have been expected between these two teams as well, given the nature of their rivalry in recent times, but you're never too far away from the touch point being met. About to mix my metaphors.
No, well,
there,
I'm just going to distract you with that. I've just witnessed you putting a pair of gloves on in September. You would never last in Europe, I've got to say.
Would you believe that I was wearing sunscreen at midday this afternoon as well when I went for my lunchtime walk, Scott? That's just Melbourne.
What a contradiction, huh?
That's just Melbourne for you. If I may digress, September tends to be the month I get the worst sunburn because I forget that, oh yeah, the sun's back. Yeah. Anyway.
The old T-shirt tan, right?
Sadly, a lot worse than that. No subs during halftime. There was one change in the first half, and that was an injury to Sean Ellis, a calf, which was iced up as he limped off at halftime. He was replaced by Les Dumbalis. And the Bentleigh Greens are through the right with Tyson Holmes, and his early ball is miscued and anticlimactically out for a goal kick.
Good intent, good start to the game, utilising the holding midfielder, exposing and getting Mitrovic into those key areas and pockets. The game plan certainly won't change. It is about exposing that space with the key threats and pace that Bentleigh do possess.
And that one sub who came on, Les Dumbalis, is also the only player to have a yellow card. Otherwise, it is a fairly barren team sheet for both sides at the moment. Thompson rises between two players to win the header. Noon. Crossfield ball. Just one stride behind Kartanos, who has to go chasing back. He's able to take possession under pressure from Alexander, but has to use his goalkeeper. Header won by Jankovic. Now Lewis Hall. Ooh. Coughed up possession, but then made sure Josh Meek didn't do anything with it. Gave away a foul as a result.
Definitely an urgency to Bentley's start to the game, which is good to see. So pretty clear the message from John is about your patience in your build-up, but we need to change the rhythm on restarts also.
Bit of a needless yellow card to get as well for Jack Petrie.
They're the annoying ones that catch you up later in the game.
Holmes in at the near post, and Theodoridis has sure hands. For a player as combative as Jack Petrie as well, to get a yellow card for that, it seems like a bit of a needless risk to assume at the start of the second half. He joins Les Dumbalis in the book. Cahill. Webster able to read his header. Exidius. Through comes Ruben Way. Cahill. Jack Webster read the pass. Now, Jacob Alexander, one of the many Queenslanders out there in this team. Mika, a shallow ball intercepted by Wilkins, who's going to go barging forward here, Josh Wilkins. And then able to win a corner down at the byline. Ruben Way will trot over from left back all the way across the pitch to the right corner. There's Tom Cahill. He'll be one of the aerial threats at the fall.
You know, you talk about aerial threat now, but the importance of set pieces in the modern game is massive. And you think how evenly balanced these both teams are. Something like this and a bit of movement, a block or a lack of concentration would be massively crucial for both teams, but very important. So the delivery must be point here.
Ruben Way, left foot in swinger and straight onto the head of Tyson Holmes. Way gets a second chance, able to lose two defenders. Tries his right foot this time. It's just a scuff into the box and cleared away once again. Exidius this time doing the business.
Great bit of skill there by the left back. Creativity, link-up play, but just that final ball again, that's what will be disappointing the Heidelberg fans at this point. They really need to execute that final ball with a lot more quality.
Kartanos. Now the ball in is cleared once more. Petrie following up. Cahill back to goal, able to turn, fashion some space. Tom Cahill! So close to the top corner. Did it all himself and nearly scored a belter.
I was waiting for you to kick off there. I thought that was going to bulge that net. I was waiting for it.
Heidelberg threatening in the first 5 minutes of this second half. Perhaps acutely aware that fatigue will start to pinch later in the night. Mika, Bentleigh need a response. Alexander. Now waiting to pick his pass. Goes to Chris Lucas. Closed down emphatically. Kartanos. Shifting away from Thurtell. Kartanos still on the run. And now drifting a low ball. Harry Noon couldn't quite take it in stride. Ryan Scott keeps it moving. And Exidius is motoring up to the halfway line. Sees Tyson Holmes. And he's able to step through Ruben Way, who bowled him over. So a free kick in a potentially dangerous position here for the Bentleigh Greens. I
was just looking at Holmes' starting positions there, and he seems to be on the opposite side of the build-up quite a lot. He's such a creative player. Possibly can we get involved more in the game on shoulders of the holding midfielders and finding those key passes as opposed to in these wide areas. His attributes aren't 1v1 in wide areas. They are in tight areas and quick combination play. So interesting to see if he actually does potentially drift inside the game.
Blake Thompson on free kick duty now for the Bentleigh Greens. Yankovic is the obvious target. Jack Webster, no stranger to a headed goal as well. In it comes, and it's all Heidelberg as Noon clears before the pack could get a look at it. And now Kartanos getting in a teammate's way, but he's coughed up the ball. And given away a foul as a result. Yellow card for Andrew Kartanos, so that's now 3 in the book for Heidelberg.
Yeah, dangerous times, three yellow cards. As fatigue sets in, these little challenges, these little 50-50s where you get a little bit slow to get up to the ball is always difficult, and they can cost you. But the set pieces here will be worrisome for Heidelberg. 2 on the trot here, putting a bit of pressure on the back 4 as well. Organisation is going to be crucial.
We've got 4 on the wall here. Tyson Holmes and Blake Thompson are both meandering near the free kick. The wall is marched back. Now Velibor Mitrovic gets in on the discussion. Who's it going to be for the Bentleigh Greens? It's perfect shooting range for a right footer, really.
Yeah, dangerous in-swinger here. Maybe a little bit of a deflection block on someone here, a little bit of dubious movement.
It's going to be Tyson Holmes, the recently crowned gold medalist, best player in NPL Victoria. Is this his shining moment? Holmes is going to dink it in. It skims on and is cleared away. Thompson. Heidelberg defence breaking out of the penalty area. chasing Jacob Alexander. Back to the free kick taker, Holmes. And
Great bit of skill, love that.
So cool under pressure, and then couldn't quite thread the ball through. Heidelberg now with Dumbalis. Quick to move it on. Saw Cahill, and Cahill saw Cartanos. And now the Burgers fans on the outer side rise. Andrew Cartanos on the run. And he leaves it for Cahill. And now things slow back down. Cartanos, edge of the box. He'll fancy himself here, and it's blocked away. He fell over at the crucial moment.
Great pressure on the ball carrier there. They've watched him on Sunday. Great effort from outside the area. They had to get pressure on the ball there. Top block from the central defender.
And as he slipped away, it just drained all the power out of his attempt and left it to be easily cleared.
Great link-up play. Great awareness in the middle of the park. Little flick around the corner. Managed to get at their back four. Better tempo from Heidelberg.
It's been their 10 minutes for the most part to open this second half, although they've come unstuck here. Cheap giveaway of possession.
Yeah, the possession's had a purpose to it, and they've played in that transition with pace, which is different. You know, Bentleigh spent a lot of the time in the back third rotating, which is a style of play which is good. However, it's not always going to win you the game. So I've liked the intensity and mentality from Heidelberg in this second half.
Petrie. Real wrestle, and who's getting the nod here? Offside was the call. Cahill was coming back from an offside position. Webster trying to thread the eye of the needle there to find Exidius, and Luke Biles and Ruben Way get it clear. Hall, and that pass will drift out.
And when you identify those areas, Holmes in that central area in between the holding midfielders and their back four, I think he can play a massive role in this game if he identifies that space early and they can get the ball to his feet.
Webster's long ball off the head of Lewis Hall. Way down to Zara. And Zara running from deep. Sends it left, and Dumbalis committed, but Jack Webster was able to get enough of the ball to stop his progress. And now Holmes. It's an awkward bounce to control, but he does. Runners breaking for him. Mitrovic. And at the edge of the box, Josh Wilkins just wraps up Jacob Alexander and is having none of it.
No, it's a poor ball. There's no pressure on the ball at all. He needs to slide that and leave that in a deeper area, so it's a one-touch cross. The quality must be much better. That would be so frustrating for John.
Throw in hurled down the line. Yankovic. Going back to his keeper, Ryan Scott. Exidius. Webster. Ball comes to a standstill at the feet of Ryan Scott. No one from Heidelberg too keen to press him up here, so he'll take a breather. Mika brought it down. Lewis Hall. Dumbalis. Knew Harry Noon was there. Now a deflected pass. Had it not been deflected, I'm not really sure where Harry Noon was playing it anyway. Blake Thompson. You heard the call. Biles wins the header. Mika. Ruben Way not letting him pass. Good technique there to find his teammate on the instep. And no advantage. Harry Noon happy to roll it back.
Just a slight adjustment to Heidelberg's play when they're pressing higher up the field. What you'll see is the right side central defender step into midfield, which allows one of the holding midfielders to engage higher up the field. And on the back of that, Heidelberg are going 3v3 at the back. And what you find is instead of a sweeper playing behind, essentially, or a central defender sweeping behind the game, he's sweeping in front, which allows that overload in that mid-third.
Chris Theodoridis to take the restart. Plenty of distance on it. Headers there to be won. Petrie challenges Holmes. Now Cahill. Dumbalis left it for Cahill. High degree of difficulty, and he tried to beat the goalkeeper at his near post. In the end, it was just tumbling into the keeper's arms. Attempted through ball. Hits up Tyson Holmes. This is where he's so dangerous. The pass to Mika. Now back out, Alexander. He's going to send it in low. Thurtell, the tee up. No one arriving in a green shirt, however.
Great bit of skill.
Jack Petrie hooks it away.
I think both teams have definitely changed gear. The tempo's definitely risen from both. Ultimately, it's about that final third execution. Now, I think in moments like this in games, teams want to go and win the game early in that second half. So it's not seeing it out on that threat of extra time.
Ball bouncing into the box and held onto by Chris Theodoridis. He's going to boot it long and put Tom Cahill back to work. Great control on the chest. Biles. Now Petrie with a bit of space. Cahill. Nicked off his toes by Exidius. Mitrovic with a little burst, but then has to slow it down. Sees Mika. Ruben Wade committed. Physical stuff. Mika goes to ground. Ruben Wade bounces right back up. Finds Harry Noon. Noon now trying to burst. Webster goes in. Bentleigh get it away. Zara. Unable to beat Blake Thompson, but the pass gives it back to Heidelberg after all. And now Biles. Off the head of Alexander. Holmes. Exidius. It's a sprint between Way and Holmes. And Way wins out, uses his preferred left foot to hook it away.
It's very easy to defend that. It's such a long pass forward, but I think Bentleigh have got the type of players that can receive on half turns behind that first press as opposed to playing that early transition ball. I think if they identify that quicker and play those balls, it will have much more impact on this game.
Mitrovic. Twisting and turning, trying to find an opening. Chris Lucas nearly.
That's what I'm talking about. Creative players in the centre of the park finding those key passes.
First real run at goal, if nothing else, for Chris Lucas, but never took possession. Beyond the hour mark now. I wonder if either team will turn to the bench again in Heidelberg's case, or for the first time for the Bentleigh Greens.
I think it was a little bit too early for managers to be considering that, if I'm honest with you, because the threat of extra time is potentially there. But what both teams have, and especially Heidelberg, they are men. That is a group of men out there that have played numerous years together and a lot of games between them. So they know how to manage these certain types of games.
Webster squares it to Jankovic. Alexander caught in possession, but no real danger to it. Bentleigh take back over, sweep it all the way down to Ryan Scott. His pass is not a good one. Cahill, is this Heidelberg's window of opportunity? He goes to ground. And Marko Jankovic is incredulous with him. But the foul is given and a yellow card to boot. And Heidelberg have a free kick at the edge of the box.
Massive change there. And what did you see? You saw a front press that actually engaged and challenged the goalkeeper. They haven't been doing that all game. They've chosen to sit off in that mid-third. Definitive change of tactics, i.e. putting a lot more pressure on the back four and especially the goalkeeper. And look at the outcome here. Unbelievable opportunity now to actually take this game to Bentleigh.
Well, the absence of Sean Ellis with that injury is telling here, because this would normally be his domain. Instead, decisions to be made. Kartanos, Petrie, and Ruben Way. Ruben Way has scored some cracking free kicks this year himself.
It does lend itself for that left footer. To the goalkeeper's left, always curling away.
Kartanos can't be ruled out here. Heidelberg have got genuine options right at the edge of the box. The wall has been set. Ryan Scott. It's almost in exactly the same position as where Germano scored from in the NPL semi-final. Let's see if the wall is placed in a way that can protect the goalkeeper here. There's Andrew Kartanos. Who will it be? Left foot or right foot? Kartanos or Way? Can Heidelberg break the deadlock with a set piece? It's Cartanos!
Goal! Oh!
And he puts it into the stanchion. The net was rippling, but only because he rattled the prop holding it up.
Fantastic effort. I think the goalkeeper, Scott, there was worried. He would have been very concerned with that. And after his weekend strike, why not have an effort like that?
Looking at it again. Oh, close, but no banana.
They would have enjoyed that behind the goal there, that's for sure.
The stakes are high. A spot in the FFA Cup semi-final, and we're still no closer to working out who will be going through. Given away by Zara. Lucas. And now Bentleigh trying to capitalise. Holmes. Mika. Mitrovic. Cuts in, does Mitrovic. Thurtell chesting it down. Holmes trying. Gets it to the ground eventually. Lucas, the back heel. Into the path of Exidius. Finish was lacking.
A bit of composure in the final third. It's always a challenge. You see that opportunity, but the goalkeeper with that angle, he's always got that covered. If you're going to hit it, you've got to hit it across the goal to give your strikers an opportunity to actually engage and possibly play in that rebound.
Exidius, who scored Bentleigh's second goal in the Doherty Cup final against Heidelberg, so he's done it against them once this year, but that wasn't to be. There he is, the young man. Cahill up in a big aerial duel, but it's all Bentleigh. Thompson, Lucas, Way, good sliding challenge. Alexander will follow up and try to propel Bentleigh forward. Cartanos followed him step for step, backtracking. Now a neat little shimmy to lose his marker. Zara couldn't keep it away from Holmes. Tyson Holmes pulling the strings for the Bentleigh Greens. Lays it in. Mitrovic. Mitrovic low and held on to by Theodoridis.
That man Holmes having a massive influence now. Massive influence. That little cute pass back in the game took out 3 or 4 defenders on that side. Great play by him.
By my count, that is Mitrovic's 5th shot of the night. All of them from outside the box.
Bit of a concern here.
Cartanos is down. This Heidelberg team that's already lost 1 player to injury tonight. Some concern here. Looks pretty relaxed, Andrew Cartanos.
This is a challenge with NPL, right? The full-time requirements away from football and the demands, they don't stop. So big games don't stop either. And that's a big challenge for these young men with the volume of games they do play. So it'll be very disappointing for him if he can't see this game out, because I see him as a match winner, I really do. Not only from free kicks, but also his technical ability getting 1v1 in those key areas.
Jack Webster's run all the way over to the opposite side of where the benches are. Not sure what grabbed his attention in the crowd.
I think that's a toilet stop may have been required, and maybe thought it was going to be a longer extended period of stoppage.
So Cartanos walks to the sidelines, and again, looks like it's going to be potentially a forced change here for Heidelberg. It is. Harvey Reid, the centre back, comes on, and that is going to require some positional switching because he's replacing a creative midfielder in Cartanos.
Yep, the little balance and structure is getting slightly sort of twisted and torn apart. The emphasis on the tactical structure may be difficult to uphold now, if I've got to say, because they might well have to resort to a more direct game in exposing the strengths that they've got in the 2 strikers, because they have lost a lot of creativity now.
Well, they're going to leave Reid in midfield. They're going to trust Lewis Hall, centre of defence, so that is interesting. Reid, who's played alongside either Stephen Pace or Luke Biles in almost all his appearances in the NPL, thrown into midfield here. Lucas. Mitrovic. Blocked down by Zara. Heidelberg take over. A chance to go forward, but the looping pass finds Jankovic's boot. Wilkins follows up. He'll take the game on here, Josh Wilkins. Cuts in to avoid Mika. Now back to Zara. Promising delivery. Hooked away. Exidius does the job. Left for Way. Looping back in. Bentleigh heads win out once more. Zara. Can't win it this time. Mika got the better of him. Mitrovic. Webster. Tyson Holmes. Thompson's pass. Mitrovic. He's going to back the speed of Chris Lucas, who whips it across, and just not enough bend on it to find Matt Thurtell.
Simple approach. Mitrovic comes short, flip it around the corner, expose that space in behind. But you talk about the substitution and the impact he could potentially have here. I actually find the ability that he'll be defending in front of the back four to be more of an importance.
Around the grounds, Apia Leichhardt have hit the crossbar against Adelaide United, where, like this game, it is still 0-0. Western Sydney Wanderers and Sydney FC waiting in the semi-finals of the FFA Cup. Draw to come at the end of tonight's games. There's going to be a booking here. Jack Webster gets a yellow card. 70th minute. So both Bentleigh centre-backs now have a ticket to their name. And Heidelberg won't mind the resulting free kick either.
Temperature's dropping. You sense it?
It's now 5 yellow cards total. It hasn't exactly been a dirty game, but bookings are starting to add up. Biles. Flicked on by Dumbalis. Cahill's header. Bentleigh clear their lines. And now Mika trying to launch a counter-attack. Holmes. Out to Lucas. Back to Tyson Holmes. Webster. Into the last 20 minutes of regulation then. Bentleigh yet to turn to their bench. Heidelberg with 2 forced subs.
You know, I'm watching Holmes out here, and he's such an influential player, and it's all fine filling into this false fullback position. It allows you to get this overload here, and not to get too technical. However, but he belongs in the middle of the park. That's where he's going to influence.
Zara on the run. Has Noon to aim for in the middle. And it's deflected behind for a corner. Heidelberg will take it.
It's a bit of contrast in styles from first half. You see Heidelberg now playing a lot on transition and breaking with speed and really forcing the issue. And whereas in the first half it was possibly slightly different, their build-up.
Ruben Way again to take the corner. Heidelberg with plenty of numbers forward. Sensing once again perhaps the opportunity to take the lead. Way's corner. High to the back post, and Ryan Scott backtracking was able to drag it in. And now trying to set Jack Webster loose. Holmes. Looking for Lucas in a gap, but Heidelberg close it down. Biles to Petrie. Cahill. Jack Petrie still on the move. Cahill. Breaks wide. And there's Ruben Way. Perhaps the man to whip it in. Decides against it. Cahill. Back to Way. He's got space at the byline. The cut across. No one there for Heidelberg. Bentleigh get it clear.
Let off the hook there. Let off the hook. Actually switching off and not identifying that key pass forward and following and tracking their runners. Big mistake there. Really could have cost the team.
Given away. Heidelberg will go again. Way has Harvey Reid on the overlap. The sub. Can he make an impact here? It's a promising ball. And now down to Ruben Way. Whips it in once more. Yankovic's header. Zara. Petrie. Touched into the path of Petrie. Left Cahill flat-footed though. Mitrovic.
Just looking at the legs in the midfield for Bentleigh there, they seem to be getting overrun now in transition. Wouldn't surprise me in the next 5-10 minutes there's a substitution in there, just in that holding midfield position and potentially attacking midfielder, because they're actually not getting that penetration or further quality now.
Mitrovic. Mika. Exidius getting forward. Seeing the opportunity for Bentleigh. Dancing on the ball. Exidius' cross. Headed away by Dumbalis. And now whipped up to the halfway line. Jankovic. Tom Cahill is down for Heidelberg. And the referee will blow play dead.
I get a sense that a lot of the players, you look at the volume of players now stretching their calves, their hamstrings, the fatigue factor.
We've got an answer to Jack Webster's problem.
There we go.
Team manager Johnny Onu has brought out a pair of boots and he wants to switch boots.
Go on the conservative, more conservative essentially, possibly the Adidas Predators there.
So there it is, a wardrobe change mid-scene.
There we go.
For Jack Webster.
Always intrigues me, the old boot change, whether it's a mentality thing or it's a visual thing, and it tends to be done when the player's not playing so well. So maybe on this case, I don't see that. He's actually performing quite well. He's really orchestrating the back four, and I've enjoyed his performance tonight. But he'll really need to be wary of Heidelberg's threat now. They're really getting further forward in the game. Their creative players are causing loads of problems as well, so he'll really need to be on his game.
Now, the last two times a Heidelberg player has gone down for treatment, they were subbed off immediately after. You would suggest that Tom Cahill is not going to suffer a similar fate here. Still being walked over to the sidelines, though.
No, I think he'll have ambition to take this club through to the next round before anyone can take him off. He looks like a tough customer to me.
And the fact that the subs board is not being readied suggests that Cahill will return. Last 15 minutes now. Extra time starting to beckon.
This is time when managers, especially John Estesiadis, he'll be considering, how do I influence this game and actually win this in regulation time? That's going to be the challenge now, because his team's sort of fallen into a bit of a lull when it comes to their rhythm and ball possession. So how does he influence that? Is it motivation, or is it actually changing something off the bench?
Thompson. Bentleigh subs are all doing very leisurely warm-ups, if you can call it that, down in the corner. Not exactly being put through their paces. Or just observing the game from somewhere other than the bench. Thompson. High ball, but straight onto the head of Dumbalis, or Wilkins, who heads it back. Cahill in a duel, straight back into the thick of things and winning a foul as well.
I love his aggression, his tenacity to bring that ball. He's got no right to bring that down in his chest there, but he holds off the holding midfielder. He brings it down and actually wins that foul for his team. He's so invaluable for this team, and if there's anyone that's going to win this game, it will be him.
Heidelberg still some distance from their penalty area. May well necessitate more aerial work here from Cahill under this free kick. Drifted in and too close to the keeper. Comes to nothing. Holmes. Thompson. Alexander, low ball. Mika got there, but his touch wasn't effective. Play continues. Mika gets another go. Now Mitrovic. Lewis Hall. Noon coughs possession up, but then Biles able to win it back once again, and Heidelberg sends the opportunity to break. Harry Noon. And the ball in from the right. Cahill couldn't get a boot on it. Huge chance. Heidelberg still have numbers forward. Harvey Reid gives possession up though. Mika. Zara knocked away.
What a chance that was. Match winner right there, I believe.
Way hurls it to Cahill. Surrounded by Bentleigh players, but still wins a corner.
Wow, his energy. The purpose and the drive he gives his team is phenomenal. Just the ability to receive. A bit unfashionable in terms of his old technique, but his drive and intensity is superb for this team.
So corner coming up. Jack Petrie to take it. Got the look right behind it here. Scott batted it down initially, and then cleared away by Mitrovic. Tumbalis can't quite control it. Out it goes.
5 or 6 men in the box from Heidelberg there. Just a simple set piece. Get it into the box, get as much pressure onto that back four as possible. Very unlucky that it didn't come off for them there.
And into the final 10 minutes of regulation we go. Still yet to see a goal. Heidelberg have thrown quite a bit at Bentleigh in this half. Bentleigh have been able to absorb all that pressure. You wonder, is it they who will turn up the heat at the end of the night? Noon. Thompson. Alexander. He's going to use that left foot to whip it over to Chris Lucas. And Lucas!
Great touch, great shot.
Promising off the boot, but in the end it just bent into the arms of Theodoridis.
Amazing. It's interesting to watch Bentleigh's build up. They're utilising the back three to actually overload that midfield, but they're actually skipping it. The reason you build up in as a back third to get that extra man in midfield, so they really need to identify and get it into their creative players.
Both teams appealing for the throw. It's going to be Heidelberg's ball. And Bentleigh will make their first change of the night. It's going to be Josh Mika coming off. And the man who got sent off, that's Wellington Phoenix, James Kelly. So often the super sub for the Bentleigh Greens. He comes on. Mika gets some high fives on the bench as he walks past John Anastasiadis.
No, he's had a good game. He's really controlled that midfield to a degree, but he was one I was watching and his legs really were suffering towards the end.
Cahill loads up. Deflection. Dumbalis. Cahill once again. Using his strength but can't turn. Yankovic took it off him. Big aerial duel. Reid at the fall. They scramble it away.
As this game progresses, you just feel an individual mistake, lack of structure at some point could be the difference, or could it be the referee? You just never know. Comes down to organisation and structure now and really boils down to the concentration of each team.
Josh Wilkins taking the throw. Right down into the box. And now on the break, Chris Lucas bearing down on goal and deflected away. Good keeping from Theodoridis. A kind ricochet for Heidelberg.
Oh, what a chance to win it. Last couple of minutes of the game. Geez, his second touch there, just far too heavy. You've got to actually command the goalkeeper there, coming off his line, making himself big. Really upsetting the presence there and really putting the striker off.
He was able to use his speed in open space. Look at it there.
Oh, wow.
Bang, bang, bang. Out of his midriff for a goal kick.
Ricochets everywhere.
And unfortunately for Lucas, they weren't goal bound when all the rebounding was done. Great chance for Bentleigh to try and snare it. Now Cahill. Webster brought it out of the sky. Ryan Scott. And the ball won't beat Lucas, but he's only succeeded in giving it away. Shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, come on.
And so play continues. Tyson Holmes. Thompson. Mitrovic. Alexander. Bentleigh perhaps buoyed by that near miss a moment ago. Kelly, the sub, to Thurtell on the turn, and Luke Biles was wearing him like a glove. Corner kick.
You're spot on. They're definitely spurred on by it. There's no doubt this set piece is going to be crucial. Can they be creative, or are they just going to lump it in there? Has to be really structured here, because they might only get one more chance here.
Mitrovic to take the corner. Right into the mixer. Webster's the hope. And amid half-hearted shouts for handball, Luke Biles blocks it away. And now Dumbalis chips it out.
Having a bit of a laugh with his pass out of the field there. His old technique let him down slightly. At least he found the funny side of it.
Got the result he wanted in that. Found the sanctuary of the touchline, if nothing else.
Well, if that was golf, he would have found the bunker.
And now Bentleigh go once more, trying to turn up the heat at the end of the night. Mitrovic. Alexander. James Kelly. Kelly from distance. And the sting taken out of it by Wilkins. Before rolling down to the keeper. Not one fan has left Kingston Heath. Now watching on in anticipation. Webster. Lucas. Back to Thompson. Yankovic. High ball.
Great ball.
Into space. Alexander cutting in.
There it is!
Bentleigh with the breakthrough!
What a finish that was.
The semi-final beckons. And it is an absolute belter that might send them there.
Incredible. You just see that striker come short and you're thinking his team wants to penetrate. He comes short, links up. They slow the build-up down. Heidelberg come higher up the field and they expose that spacing behind. What a finish that was. First touch inside, right foot, far corner. Superb.
Jacob Alexander able to leather it in and put Bentleigh into a 1-0 lead. And with 4 minutes to go, it's cup on the line for Heidelberg United.
There we go. What an absolute hero. Fantastic. Look at the technique. Defender, too square, finds that opposite side. That's a superb finish. Look at that. Fairly conservative celebration there. Probably not used to scoring too many, but his teammates are loving it. Look at that. Teammates loving it.
Bentleigh trying to become the first NPL team to go to 2 FFA Cup semi-finals. And as things stand, they will be the only NPL team left standing, as Adelaide have taken a 2-0 lead against RPL Leichhardt.
You know, that in itself is a massive achievement, considering the constraints of NPL teams and the lifestyles the players have to lead. This is a crucial couple of minutes here. Ball control, ball possession and structure is going to be key. Who are leading this team now to this victory will be vital.
Holmes. Off the head of Thurtell. Heidelberg need to dig deep here. 3 minutes of regulation to go. Biles throws himself at the ball. Ruben Way down the line. Dumbalis is waiting. Biles getting forward. Tom Cahill. Plenty of space for Dumbalis here. Numbers to aim for in the box. Cahill willed himself onto the ball and Harry Noon sent it skyward.
The manager won't be happy there. The defender needs to do more. He needs to get a block on it. We spoke about it in the first half. Needs to get out, stop that cross. They're far too dangerous in that 18-yard box to not affect the cross.
Time very much the enemy of Heidelberg. 2 minutes of regulation to go now.
Just looking at the old body language of numerous players now here. You just look at the bodies. The minds and bodies must be really fatigued. So anxiety will be kicking in for that final whistle. There's no doubt about that.
And we'll get to see if Bentleigh can hold their nerve Of course, the last time they were playing, it was right here on this pitch when they conceded late goals to Avondale, but tonight they look like they're made of different stuff. Theodoridis charged out, had to win the ball and did. Keeps possession under the challenge of Alexander. And now Heidelberg sending everything forward. Cahill protected the ball well. Sends it to Dumbalis. And the cross is straight onto the head of Thurtell. Mitrovic, Harvey Reid following up, but his header straight to a Bentleigh opponent. Thurtell a bit too gentle with his touch, and so Heidelberg take over once again. Lewis Hall, in it comes and headed away. Reid backtracking. Last minute of regulation then. Ruben Way brings it down. It's Ruben Way straight at the keeper. Perhaps had more time than he knew.
No, you're spot on. He certainly did. Great technique to bring it down, but whether or not he could have driven the gap, taken another touch, but he had certainly had more time. Back four now of Bentleigh need to get more organised. The space there was far, far too much.
That was Jacob Talevski being readied, perhaps being told, go on and make a hero of yourself. As Harry Noon goes chasing the ball down on the wing. Bentleigh find the touchline.
What number is it?
Looks like it's Adrian Zara who is running to the sidelines here. So Talevski can come on. Is the change going through? It is. And that'll take us into stoppage time as Talevski is thrown on. Last roll of the dice for Heidelberg. Fourth official says there will be 4 minutes of stoppage time.
In football, that's loads of time. You know, you get 2 or 3 chances there. If you're clear in possession, you get your structure right, potentially 2 or 3 set pieces, but it comes down to pressure now. Heidelberg need that ball in the attacking half. They need it in the attacking half to put loads of pressure on this Bentleigh back four.
It is Bentleigh's throw down at left back. Alexander, the goal scorer.
Here we go.
Heidelberg get the ball back. Free kick, and it's going to be all systems go. Harvey Reid will be trying to create chaos. Sends it high. Cahill chasing. First header is Bentleigh's, and a corner.
Made a nuisance of himself there. A bit of contact with the big Jankovic there. Potentially a foul. Would have been very unfortunate if he gave it away. However, danger zone. This is danger time. Great set pieces from Ruben Way, majority of the night.
Goalkeepers come forward. Theodoridis. Ruben Way's corner. Right into the mixer. Reid. Down it goes. And the follow-up. Ruben Way low. Harry Noon in traffic. And now turned into the path of Talevski. The youngster blocked away. It's still scrambling and eventually ends up in the grateful arms of Ryan Scott. And he tries to drive it along with the goalkeeper backtracking. Chris Lucas. He'll be dangerous here. And it's desperate stuff from Wilkins to send it out for a throw.
What a frantic end to the game. Fantastic initiative from the goalkeeper there, but you look at the numbers in the box. Shots, blocks, targets. What a fantastic end to the game.
The kid got his chance. Talevski had his look, but he volleyed it straight into the traffic. And Bentleigh slow the game to walking pace. Half of stoppage time has expired. They've got it down the right end as far as they are concerned. Can they get it to the corner? It's out for a throw-in, and it's Heidelberg's ball. Can they drive it end to end? The left boot of Ruben Way will help.
That's a foul.
Free kick given. Players sprinting forward. Wilkins header. Noon challenging. Away comes James Kelly. Fresh legs of the sub. Up against Talevski. Kelly willed himself onto the ball. And now crossfield pass. Chris Lucas is there. Thurtell offside. And even though it's ended up in the back of the net, it does not count. Bentleigh are going to make a time-wasting sub just to try and break the hectic momentum of this game.
What a fantastic run on that left-hand side, releasing all the pressure on the back four. Then had the vision to find that pass. Very unfortunate not to go ahead of the second goal there.
And Matt Thurtell is going to come on, and young Charlie Fry, a centre-back, It's going to be thrown on to batten down the hatches here. We're into the last minute of stoppage.
Look at Jack Webster there, urging his back four on to stay high, be dominant in the air and win this second phase.
On comes Fry. He's got one job: defend and keep it out of the back of the net. Ball will restart from the offside with Theodoridis. Into the pack it goes. It's a big header won by Yankovic. And now it falls to Bentleigh feet. Tyson Holmes to send Bentleigh to the semi-final. He can't keep control of the ball. And there is still hope for the Burgers. Stoppage time has expired. Now or never for Heidelberg.
This is it.
Exidius with the header. And it goes out for a throw. There's still a hope, Heidelberg. Ruben Way. And it will be a corner. No, it'll be a goal kick. Huge call. And that should just about do it.
Hard to see, we haven't had a replay yet, but I'm not too sure if he got that one right. I think the Heidelberg players have got a case to argue there. Such a shame to end the game in that fashion. Goalkeeper will take this and the whistle will go, and Heidelberg will potentially lose this game.
Ryan Scott waving everyone over to one side of the pitch underneath his goal kick. And it sails out. Referee happy to let it run, factoring in the sub during stoppage time. Flick header on. Thompson clears. Bentleigh Greens are going to the semi-finals of the FFA Cup. Jacob Alexander's late winner means that it's Bentleigh, the most decorated team from the NPL in the FFA Cup, will be the last one standing in the Final Four, ready to take on the professionals and still challenging to become that first ever NPL team to make the final. There's the man who scored the match-winning goal, Alexander. It came late, and even though Heidelberg threw everything at Bentleigh, their season comes to an end. And it's Bentleigh Greens who go through.
Listen, difficult end to the season, which was an outstanding season, you've got to say. Their ability to play week to week with that intensity and that volume of wins throughout the season has been outstanding. But credit has to go to Bentleigh here. I thought overall they were the better side throughout the game. They showed that intent in the first half. And listen, to be fair, we did think about, as the game went further on, it was only going to be one goal margin, and why not do it in the fashion he did that there. Cutting inside, hitting that far corner with great execution. Overall, a fantastic game, but most importantly for Victorian football, seeing a club like Bentleigh going through to the semi-finals and really affecting Australian football potentially in the next couple of months.
They'll find out their opponents later tonight. You can watch the draw on Fox Sports Channel 505. It will either be Adelaide United, Sydney FC or Western Sydney Wanderers. So they're guaranteed to have one more game here at Kingston Heath before the season is out. There they are, the celebrating Bentleigh Greens through to the semi-finals for the second time in club history. And it's a special night for them as they win 1-0.
The season goes on.
Scott Miller, as we say goodnight with scenes of Bentleigh celebration, thank you for joining me this evening.
Thanks very much, good to see you.
And thank you to our broadcast crew from Kingston Heath tonight. On behalf of all of us, my name is Teo Pellizzeri. Thank you for joining us on the Fox Sports Australia website and the My Football app. That's it from the Kingston Heath ground. Full-time score, Bentleigh Greens 1, Heidelberg United 0. Good night.